And we got Arhi over on the team too. Gonna be first up versus Judy Kadam. Oh, wait. He's got himself like a full-blown Scarlet Crusade mog. Wait, is it trying to go for like a Darren Morgraine kind of mog kind of look? Or his dad? Wait, is it trying to mog? Is it trying to cosplay like an actual WoW guy? That's gonna be Hodge missing into the, oh, big Judy, oh, Judy. Oh my god, Judy is popping up the defensive. You might just need to use a bubble here. This boy is just going through all the defensive. Gets done by Arhi. Miss misses Hodge into a grounding totem by Arhi. Set it up pretty well. And Arhi just zapping this boy in the chest. Looks like Judy might have been Judy Kadam. So it's so unfortunate that your name is Judy. But I guess it's just a fast pattern name, right? I would try to go with a Judy Kadam. Kadu? No, that doesn't really work either. Decadam. Decadam sounds like a cool name. It's going to be Hodge onto Arhi. No ground him this time. Looks at Judy Kadam. Is trying to see if he might be able to get himself set up. Building up for a big hammer drop. He's having to burn a lot of that holy power for self-heal as Arhi does invest a big Ellie Blast. That's going to be a big Primordial Bolt set up. Potentially could go for back-to-back lightning bolts over onto the Paladin. Arhi trying to go for a little bit of self-heal. Trying to maybe get himself a bit of Maelstrom so he can maybe slap down the Paladin as soon as he got himself a little bit of damage. Judy trying to see if he can keep himself afloat here. Top himself off. Hodge onto Arhi, but might want to separate completely. All he's got is a blessing of protection. As Ghost was a join in, Arhi should be able to just blast out through Judy, trying to see if he might be able to get interrupted on Holy so he can go for a full flesh count versus Arhi. Battle Master Tricky getting used, does himself a big set of wings, could potentially go for a lot of healing or damage. I think it was a grounding totem dropping down. Judy does end up taking it out as fast as possible. Trying to keep the pressure rolling versus Arhi. With a quick hex? No, not going to be a hex. It's going to be a Hodge. But no wings to follow as Judy's wings did disappear from the Crusader PvP talent. Or not Crusader. Aura Vengeance? Is that what it is? Big zaps onto the Shield of Vengeance. Judy's trying to see if we keep him alive. I don't know if that'll be enough. And zap down by Arhi. Taken out of the game. Unfortunate with Beggar hanging out over for the team too. We got Holy Moly chilling in the back. We got Tagsy here. As well as what looks like maybe Ballas. Gonna be rolling up versus Arhi. We got ourselves Keshi over on the Troll Pharaoh Jade over in team 1. We got Kronkza coming back in as a Iron Night Fae, or is that just a meme? We got ourselves also Sejura in the back as Fury. We got ourselves Yasha. And it's gonna be a quick Sunder with a stun to Ballas. The boss is still playing the Succubus Incubus build, so he's trying to play the Pleasure Through Pain build. Gonna be a big Zaps by Arhi. Boss not really taking too much damage from the Zaps just yet. Gonna be a Dark Pact as well. Lots of him set up. Boss can go for a big burst. Arhi does have himself Spell Warden, so it's gonna, or Aegis rather, it's gonna give him a lot of survivability here. He's gonna try to see if he can line the side so Boss can't quite catch him. Does Boss have any totems nearby? Could potentially maybe blast out the pet. There's the totem next to him. He could potentially just put the damage into the totem, trying to let the Tyrant and the pets do a bit of work onto Arhi, but he's avoiding them all completely. Boss was gonna need some line of sight onto Arhi in order to make sure he does land the big decimating bolt on him, but actually doing quite a bit of damage to Arhi without the need for it. Quick fear onto Arhi, try to build up for damage, hand to go down, Shadow Bolt to follow. That was a wall used. Does he go maybe for another setup with a decimating bolt? He's just continuing to Shadow Bolt at Arhi as best as possible. At some point he's going to need to go for a big setup. It's going to be a Mortical, but line of sight's a decimating bolt, which is super unfortunate. And he did build up a lot of imps just now. Arhi tried to see if he might be able to get an interrupt onto Ballas. Does get interrupted on Shadow for a second. Does have a Dark Pack coming up very soon. He needs to get Arhi somewhat lowered though. Might be a Dark Pack here as he got no health whatsoever. Ghost was actually might bite him. Oh, and the Ghost was do end up getting that bite at the end. They just went straight for the jugular, making this gnome into a chew toy. With Holy Moly charging out versus Arhi. Setting up some dots of their own, trying to get a VT in there. It's going to be quick. Interrupt by Arhi, maybe a little early. Is Holy Moly trying to go for Fear versus Arhi. Got himself full PI, full damage. All the pets in the world. Flesh Cap. That's going to be the Siphon trying to reduce the value of the Flesh Cap. The best possible going to be that big Resonator trick and the Grenade trick coming down. As Arhi's still taking a bit of damage. All those pets around the corner actually just getting rotted down pretty hard right now. Holy moly with them dots and the pet action just doing work. Try to see if they might be able to get around line of sight on Arhi. Could potentially land a silence and everything. Looks like a lot of the pet pressure is gone. Sunder onto Holy as Arhi is going to back up out of it. He is going to need some Maelstrom in order to get himself a little bit of heal catch up. Holy waddling away slowly from the Stone Totem. Is going to need to go for another setup next time to have the pet back up. Especially when they have their, what is it, the Mages of the Dead, the Undead Mages, Skeleton Mage. I don't even know what to call it. Stun onto Archie with a Siphon, could potentially be decent damage. Silence, so Archie has to walk up to her Siphon just to be able to clobber it down. Could potentially go for interrupt, which is holy moly. The only thing he can really interrupt is Shadow, but you will be able to lock out Fleshcraft and other defenses. Another ability is going to be Archie bailing, tucking tail and running away from all this pest. The Magus does meet him behind the pillar. Could actually interrupt the Magus if he wants to. And I think that's exactly what he's trying to do. Looks like he's just going to clobber down the mage. This guy's just trying to cast. Kevin around the corner trying to support him. He's like, leave my friend alone, so I spit. Why? Okay, Blizzard, you got to take out the spit emo, but then Kevin can still spit at me? Come on, Blizzard, that's toxic. Why is Kevin the only one allowed to spit? For real. That's holy moly getting hit with a Sunder. Trying to go for a... Trying not to get interrupted as best as they can, just to make sure there's a disperse they can use in order to catch back up. It's going to be pretty tough for Archie. I think holy moly in some ways needs to try to find a way to move Archie away from any pillar, lock him down with stuns, as well as with a Siphon with a slow, and just try to see if they can keep him away from pillars for as long as possible. Siphon joining in. Archie choosing to follow after the Siphon. Looks like he's going to back up out. He's ready to go behind the pillar in case he needs to. Holy moly does activate Void Eruption. Looks like Void Form is up. Trying to make sure there's dots versus Archie. Trying not to get interrupted. It's going to be big damage. Trying to go for a heal. Going to be a Hex. Greater Fate for a moment. No interrupt versus Archie for a second. But that's great as Resonant Trick, and Archie is going to back up out of there completely. As holy moly continues to blast out at Archie. And Archie trying to avoid the mages to the dead as best as they can. Man, yeah, for holy moly, every minute they have quite a bit of birds, but they just got to make sure that there's no line of sight for Archie to hide behind. Otherwise, they're just going to be able to avoid the damage completely. It's so weird that Shadow Priest is a pet class in PvP. Am I right? It's kind of weird. I mean, it's cool, you know, but they kind of feel like a demonology warlock in a way. And you have to rely on AI. I think it's neat, but like weird at the same time. Because Archie just lines aside, he just hides behind the box, and there's like, that's it, your damage is gone. That has to feel pretty bad, like, you know, 3v3. Oh my god. Holy moly though, still kicking, still surviving. No interrupt available for Archie. Again, Holy just gotta make sure to pull him away from any pillar. Holy moly might be in trouble. Massive heal recovered, I believe, playing the self heal legendary. Trying to keep it slow onto Archie. Archie not going anywhere. Looks like he's gonna stick around. Disperse out for holy moly. Looks like Archie is going to turn the attention onto the mages, but definitely wants to put the pressure into holy moly as best as possible. Does holy moly have anything left? Going to be a stun onto Archie with a flesh cup. Does get the interrupt at the very last second. The mages actually got to do a bit of damage to Archie. Going to be a full void eruption potentially for holy moly with a Siphon to slow him down quite a bit. Silence around the corner as it's going to be a holy moly trying to blast out at Archie's best possible. Big alien blast does get holy moly super low. If Archie only has a primordial setup and a zap right after, that could be pretty scary. Holy moly just trying not to get interrupted as best as they can. Archie getting hit with the fear. Holy moly is able to catch up a little bit of healing. Dropping down in Shadow Crash, but getting interrupted by Archie. Man, it's got to be rough. Next zap, I think it might be over. Lightning Bolt doesn't even go for full Maelstrom. Man, holy moly, she had it tough, man. She had it tough. It's probably like the worst matchup you can really get. But they did the best they could. She did honestly the best she could in that one. Gonna be a wall into Archie as a rogue beggar. They're just trying to see if we can take him down. Is that gonna be a full big burst? It's gonna be Resident Grand. She get big points explosion. I think it's over at last. Archie does get himself a healer too, but beggar at 23% dampening with deadly poison and shiv. There's no way. There's just no way you're living. Sajiro's gonna try to see if he can swipe the rogue out in the open, potentially find a whirlwind on him. Beggar chilling in stealth. Waiting out for Sajiro. This is going to pick up the eye. 25% dampen at 9 minutes into the duel. And Beggar going for a bit of a flesh shaft while he's chilling on the underside of the bridge. Going to be Sajiro Beyblading himself into the rogue just to make sure he doesn't get hit with any CC like a disarm. And on disarm, he's going to hit him with a quick fear. Sajiro needs to be careful about the next stun by Beggar. I don't think this rogue has any more burst. This rogue is actually not Night Fae. I was thinking this rogue was going to be Night Fae for some reason. But he's a Necrolord. Sajiro with the reflect, I don't really know what he could reflect from Beggar, but I think he does reduce some of the nature damage that he's taken from the rogue, and I guess he is also able to reduce some of the damage from Kevin too. Beggar does dive into stealth. Was that a vanish or was that like a shadow meld? I'm not sure. I think it was a proper vanish. Sajiro is chilling behind the pillar, gonna just beat up on Kevin Slime, generate a little bit of resources. He only has a enrage regeneration for the next big go by the rogue. Does not have a trinket. Unless he just randomly finds the rogue. Cheap shot by Beggar. Trying to get some dots in. Sajiro immediately goes in for big defenses. Quick disarm onto the warrior. Not much you can really do. But furiously keep punching at Beggar. Trying to get whatever auto attack damage you can. With just fists alone. Blade Storm for Sajiro. He's gonna get a quick catch up onto a charge versus Beggar. Quick blind by the Rogue though, as the Rogue does not have evasion. As a jury at least got a trinket, got everything. Wait, is Beggar even running a trinket? Wait, hold on, is Beggar even running a trinket? This man is not even running a trinket. What? Did you know he was gonna run against a Jiro? Or was that like wrong setup? Were you just trying to go for like the biggest birds build or something? He's got no trinket, like any other class, like a Paladin with a stun, with a bit of a setup, like it's over. But literally playing against Sajiri, he doesn't have any CC except for a fear. He doesn't run a storm bolt. Most fear warriors don't anymore. So it's like, it's actually perfect. It's like his own, he knew he was gonna run versus Sajiro. Disarm onto the warrior, kidney shot to follow, Vendetta's up with the resonant trinket. Sajiro got nothing for this. Maybe he can barely survive it, potentially get a heal. Let's go for commanding shout, get himself at least a little bit of survivability, need himself an impending victory on the road, but I think it's gonna be over. The dagger subset and the poisons are coursing through his veins. And there's not much he can do. Krong's charging out a Beggar. It's going to be immediate cheap shot of Beggar. I think trying to go for a Shadow Melt for a second. Going to be the big burst out of Krong's trying to go for Resident Chicken versus Beggar. I think it's going to be over. As Krong's just unleashes the Outlaw Burst versus him. Fake Tags is going to be the last one left as he's getting stabbed up by Krong's. I think he's playing Necrolord. He still has a spike from the last rogue on him. Quick blind on Tags. Tags are playing that what is it? Not Resonant Trinket. Resolve trinket. So this blind is gonna last a little. Wait, how did you cheap shot him? Did you like sap him through the rest of the charges of Resonator? I think he did. I think he literally blinded him, caught a vanish, sap, cheap shot. Or maybe fake Tags he got out of combat and then Resonator dropped. One of those two. Tags to try to see if he can push him versus Rogue. No way for him to interrupt. Krongzu can maybe Cloak of Shadows. Does get a full stun on a Tagsy. More of a defensive stun. As Tagsy is not going to sit that one long at all. He's going to try to see if he can port next to Krongzu. Krongzu could potentially go for a Cloak of Shadows. Does go for a DFA. At least he's trying to immune the CC coming out from Tagsy. It's going to be a quick stun onto the Rogue. Drain, yet another fear. Going to be that Cloak of Shadows. As Krongzu finally got himself maybe a little bit of reprieve from all those dots. Stun onto Tags. He does have a human racial for it. It's going to be Dark Fool. Not Dark Pack, but rather Wall. It's going to be a Dark Soul. A Stable Affliction. A Tags trying to go for the most amount of damage versus Krongzu. Does get hit with a Gouge for a second, but it's going to be the Dark Layer. Tags just to survive this a little bit longer. The Rogue will die eventually. Looks like Krongzu doesn't have the hardest dots on him yet, but the Dark Layer continues to blast him. I think it might have turned around. I think Krongzu is over. Oh no, the dots, they weren't the hardest, but if only he just stayed on top of Tags, if only just kept rushing at him, I think he would be able to use it. I was using Aegis. Oh, okay, I didn't realize he was Aegis. Oh, big blast onto Tagsy as Keishi doesn't give him an opportunity. It's that 30-minute duel, dampening built up, taking him out. I didn't realize you were using Aegis. You could actually use Aegis with another CC. Were you?